On this episode, I cannot be the only person that understands this market. I can't be. Plus, I got a sick COVID flow. What you think? This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey, and this is episode 109 of the Ask Jason Show. Been a bit, but that's cool. It was a pandemic. See, what happened was it was a dude who had got sick, and then another people got sick, and then everybody got sick. And then we was like, no, you guys stay home and you'll get sick too. And then there was no Ask Jason. Aww. Not exactly the worst part of a global health pandemic, but important nonetheless. This is officially the first ever episode of Ask Jason whereby I do not have my phone, because Joe said we don't have a lot of time and it would distract me. A little does he know, there's lots of other things that I could play with. Oh, shit. I'm just, okay. Okay. Okay, back to the episode. This one comes from an article that I read that got on my nerves. The headline was something to the effect of, St. John's real estate market on fire and nobody knows why. I know why. Nothing wrong with the people in the article that spoke. You're just not necessarily asking the people with context. For instance, we spoke to the CEO of the Newfoundland Labrador Real Estate Association, Mr. Bill Sterling. Incredible man, incredibly intelligent man, very, very good CEO. The positive changes made to our real estate board since Mr. Sterling took over a few years back are enormous. And I'm incredibly grateful that he is our CEO. However, if I wanted to know what Frederick Anderson's injury was and why he stopped playing so well, I wouldn't ask NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. And I will leave that analogy right there. Let's talk about our real estate market, why it's all on fire and hot now, and people are confused by it and wondering about its sustainability. Let's rewind. On average, in Canada, people buy and sell houses every 4 to 7 years. It's just a statistic. Obviously, they're averages, so there will be people who will stay longer, people who will move shorter times, all of those things. On average, between 4 and 7 years. Let's go back 7, 8, 9 years. That was when our market was at peak, and then it kind of crumbled a little bit with the oil thing. Did you ever hear about that? The whole oil thing. So oil went down, our province started to have some economic issues that plagued us for a while. The people who bought those 7, 8-ish years ago, who are supposed to be moving over the last couple of years, haven't been able to, because the market either went down or was flat in that amount of time. So they couldn't sell for what the market demanded and still have enough equity to put a down payment into another home. They just couldn't. So what did our government try and do? Well, our government tried to get people out into buying homes again. So they started this down payment assistance plan. That gave people effectively, not exactly, but effectively a free 5% down payment, provided they fit the qualifications, to get people into the market that weren't in the market previously. One of the conditions was that the house had to be around or under about $250,000 in and around the St. John's area. So what did that do? Basically, we gave people $12,500 to buy a house, but the house wasn't allowed to be more than, say, $250,000. How many people did we give that to? Well, there was $2 million given away in $12,500 increments. And all of those people had to buy something around the $250,000 mark or lower. They could have done higher if they put the rest of the money up themselves. Then our average sale price dropped dramatically. Everyone's like, oh no, the average sale price, my house is worthless, where'd all my equity go, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody got really, really worried because they had just gone through the process of having not been able to sell with enough equity to buy another house. So everything got really confusing for people for a while. Also, as a part of that year, 7, 8 years ago, we had 11 or 12, I can't remember which one, deals in excess of $1 million for residential real estate. That had never ever happened before. Coincidence? Maybe, I don't know, but it had never happened before. So in the next year, we had none. Not because nobody had the money, but because all of the millionaires just bought new houses. They don't need another one now. It's gonna be 4 to 7 years before that happens. We take out a dozen $1,000,000+ deals, add in 150-ish deals at $250,000 or less, and then just watch the average sale price dramatically drop. And everyone's like, oh no, the market crashed, blah, 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 blah. And nobody would buy anything. There was no consumer confidence. Just leave it all alone. Fast forward to a year ago, global health pandemic. What did a lot of people do? A lot of people deferred their mortgages. I was one of them. If I didn't, I would have found myself in trouble. But I was still working. I deferred my mortgage. It was a security thing. A lot of people did the same. They deferred their mortgages, didn't have to make their mortgage payments, still had the income. So follow me. Say your mortgage payment is $2,000 a month. You defer your mortgage for 6 months. Now you have $12,000. What is that $12,000 good for? That $12,000 is really, really good for selling your house at current market value and still having some cash to add to your equity to have a down payment to buy a new house. Ooh, look at that. The property ladder is a real thing. This person buys this house so that this person can sell and afford to buy this house, so that this person can sell and afford to buy this house. So now we have people who are able to sell their property for market value and get into another one. So what happens to all of our overstock? Because for a long time, we've been very, very deep into a buyer's market. What a buyer's market means is it's just a measure of absorption rate. If no new houses go up for sale, and people continue to purchase at the same rate, how many months have to pass before all of the houses are gone? If it's a certain amount of months, like say over 7 to 9, that's a buyer's market. 4, 3, 2, 1, very strong seller's market. We were well over a year. We were deep into a buyer's market. But when that trigger happened so that people had equity and they could sell and they could start to move, everything started to reconnect. And the people who were first-time buyers had something to buy, because those people had something they could buy, because those people could afford to sell. So now everything starts to line up again. What happens? Houses sell. What does that mean? Inventory goes down. And now it's a very simple, very, very simple, fundamental concept. It's a function of supply and demand. That's what all economics says. Price is only a function of supply and demand. That's it. Our price is rising right now. Depends on how you define it. Average sale price is rising. What's interesting, dollar per square foot is a much better measure of the cost of something. And Joe, we did an episode on this a while ago about like I could sell one apple for $5 and 5 apples for $1. Like, it's the same amount of money, the average is totally different. So it's important to understand these things. Our market is on fire and nobody knows why. Yeah, I know why. I know exactly why. And now you do too. So if you want to buy something, that's cool. Interest rates are still super, super low. Are you overpaying because prices are rising? No. It's just a supply and demand thing. With the spring market, more inventory will come up. It'll level out a little bit. Just like stop being clickbaity, headline reading. Blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I was trying to say? Headline reading, keyboard warrioring, just clickbait foolishness, trying to fearmonger people when the only nice thing to happen to us in such a long time is that our real estate market is a bit healthy again. And do you know what makes the difference between a good market and a bad market? Nothing to do with price at all. Are houses being bought and sold? If they are, you have a healthy market. That's it. And then you start talking about absorption rate, buyer's market, seller's market, all of that. Then it all comes down to supply and demand. Right now, supply is lower. That makes demand higher. Prices inch up based on competition. That's simple. So you want to sell your house? Now's not a bad time, because here's the secret. Apparently, I'm the only person that knows why our market is on fire. It drives me nuts. This is not that complicated. Thank you for watching episode 109 of The Ask Jason Show. All rights reserved. Our lawyers told us to say this. Is that a thing? I don't know. We'll see you next time. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you.